Okay, thank you guys for coming to the class. Let me just let one more person in and we're just gonna get started. And I'll just let Liz take the reins.
Thank you so much. Welcome everyone. Good morning to Art at Home, sponsored by the Hoboken Public Library. Thank you so much to the Hoboken Library for helping us out during this time of pandemic and for sponsoring and supporting the arts and the art community. It's been difficult, right, for us to thrive and survive during this unusual historic moment, but Hoboken Library has really helped out and we appreciate that so much. Bravo. All right, we are in a brand new month, September 1, 2021. We are going to start an extended celebration of Latin American Heritage Month. Excuse me 1 minute. Could somebody send Heather the link to today's class?
I'll do it.
Thank you. I'm asking her if she's registered. It's Heather Albert Charissa. You don't have her? Yeah, she's probably not registered. So if someone could forward her the link, that'd be great. So Latino and Latina American Heritage Month starts mid-September and runs to mid-October. And I've taken the liberty of making it for us a 2-month-long celebration because there are so many great Latino and Latinx artists in this country and in Latin countries all over the world that we can celebrate and learn about. Some of whom are incredibly famous, for example, Picasso and Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. And others, like the artists that we're going to explore and look at today, who are not well known at all, but I love discovering new artists and looking at their work and deciding whether or not we think they are worth learning about. This particular artist today, I have to say, his kind of work is not my personal cup of tea. I mean, I find it beautiful. Do I find it exciting and interesting? Personally, for me, it's not what I would go to a museum to see, but I bet there are many of you who will be drawn to it and excited about it in that particular way. And that's good. That's what art is all about. It is a deeply personal expression and a deeply personal way of being attracted to the visual world. And you're not going to like everything that you look at. The artist's name today, and I'm calling on those of you who are Spanish speakers to correct me if I mispronounce his name, please. Our artist for today is Jaime Domínguez Montes. There are quite a few artists of this name. I believe the biography that I sent you is for the correct, or for the artists whose artwork we are going to look at today. So I'm going to go by the surname Dominguez as well. I'm going to drop the Montes for our discussion today because in a lot of what I've seen written about him, he doesn't use the surname Montes. He uses pretty much only Dominguez. He was born in 1959. He's of the same generation of a bunch of other artists who I've never heard of before. Maybe you have: Yashimoto Nara, Johnny Narguda, Marino Bondi, Jose Braulio Bedia Valdez, and Yvonne Alting. So this is a new up-and-coming group of artists, and that's why I've chosen him, because he's somebody on the cutting edge right now. He was influenced by what was going on in the 1970s while he was growing up. And this was a decade where the most important movement in art was conceptualism, which grew out of an artistic period called minimalism. And minimalism was when artists did very structured, simple, geometric, very pared down, lacking in emotion or expression work. Very intellectual work, very, I think, beautiful work. But if you are someone who is more drawn to work that is about emotion and expression, I don't know if minimalism would be for you. We'll talk more about minimalism on in another class. He was also influenced by environmentalism and land art. We've talked about land art. Those of you who've been with me in my classes for a long time, we've talked about land art at other times, and also abstract expressionism, expressive figure painting, people like Gerhard Richter, the German expressionist, Anselm Kiefer and George Baselitz. But at some point in his artistic career, he broke away from all of this and started doing very kind of architectural, geometric abstraction. And that's basically all I know about him. I don't know where he went to art school. I don't know even where he lives. So that's it on the biography. I invite all of you to search for more information about him. I kind of ran into him on the website Artsy, so that might be a good starting place for you. I'm going to put his name in the chat box. So those of you who are into research, you can look him up. But today I'm more interested in seeing your reaction to his work. So give me a minute to open up some of his pictures. There we go. You're going to really see the influence of minimalism now. What he does. Those of you who know a bit about minimalism all right. So there's a bit of optical illusion in his work. There's an interesting play with depth of field, the way the image seems to go in and out. Very interesting use of bright, vibrant color, but very simple geometric and architectural shapes and design. So this is very, very different from what we've been looking at in the weeks past, when we spent a lot of time looking at Impressionist work and post-Impressionist work. I should say that Dominguez also was, you don't really see it in his work, but has been heavily influenced by traditional and indigenous crafts. Not really apparent in his work. These are acrylic paintings. Any comments? Like it?
I love the translucency that he is able to show.
Right, the very thin layers of paint. It seems to me that he may paint over his color.
Right.
He allows one layer to dry and then paints over the color underneath. I'm guessing he may use gels and mediums to create these effects as well. We probably should have a class one day talking about gels and mediums. But extraordinary use of color. He's really courageous with his use of color. Lauren, were you about to say something?
I was. It's almost like you're looking through a peephole to world he's created. So I think that that's pretty cool. And I love the translucency and the boldness, but I'd have to study more to see how this relates to indigenous art that he's, been studying, but how cool, how bold, as you said.
Right.
It almost looks like a kaleidoscope.
Yes. A peephole, a kaleidoscope. It is interesting that he's chosen the circle as his format. Within the circle, though, he's gone very hard edge. That's also interesting, going from this curved shape to these angular shapes within. So there's a dichotomy there. And I always think, gosh, it looks so easy, this kind of work. But you know what? It's not.
No.
We're going to do work inspired by his images, and I'm going to have some tips for you. Oh, whoops, I forgot to open it. Hold on. Let's go back. I'll have some tips for you to help you with the process of doing this kind of work. And then Lauren, what you said about going into other worlds is kind of interesting, because this one to me has that kind of otherworldly, interstellar kind of feel to it.
Kind of glows.
I like this one. I find incredibly beautiful, I have to say.
Looks like a moonlit ocean to me.
Right, it could be, and the reflection on the bottom. How much I love that the circle is not in the middle of this. Did everybody notice that? The blue-green circle is a little bit pushing the edge here.
The
Previous one too, I noticed.
Amazing.
Really, I did not notice the previous one.
60-40, yeah.
Good, Naomi. Good observation. again, there's a kind of transparency to this one. And I love the color. And how genius is it, this black line across here?
Yeah.
This one is a nice follow-up from all the landscape work we've been doing, because this to me reads definitely as a horizon line.
Right.
Notice how important the external shape is to the artist, to Domínguez. This has color. This is not white. So the space around the circle has color as well. And that was really apparent. That was really apparent in the previous picture. I believe it was red. There were different reds around the outer rim of the circle, red and purple. So don't forget, if you use this circular format, don't forget that this space has meaning as well as the internal space.
I'm sorry, how big is it?
I don't know the dimensions. As I said, there was so little information on this artist. Relatively young guy, no information. What would he be? He'd be 60 something.
64, 63?
Yeah. Okay, so not all of his format is circular. So we're going to look at one now that is not. Although there is a circle in this one. I just really enjoy the way he plays with space. Notice the way he's used shadow here underneath the disc. Really interesting. And then
Not
these-
now. What do you want?
I just asked if you're using it.
Why?
I can.
guys, remember to mute, please. And he loves doing this stripe thing, doesn't he? Where he goes from lighter to darker as it recedes back. Oh, and on this part though, he's going from darker to lighter. That also creates depth and an illusion of space. This looks like a flying saucer. Sorry for putting that in your brain if you didn't see it.
Looks like a record to me.
Yeah, could be a record or a CD. And then this is pretty bold to put this turquoise curve down here, strip, and then this black triangle, black, or maybe it's dark green. So composition is key in this kind of work, and your composition depends entirely on the color and on the shape that you're using. And occasionally on shadow. So what makes this guy's work unique and very new and modern is this use of shadow. In geometric abstraction, shadow is unusual. Think about somebody like Mondrian. Shadow is unheard of. You know, Mondrian is just rectangles and color. And he was the master of geometric abstraction. All right. Look at a few more images. Then I'm going to talk about the materials you need and show you some tricks of the trade for doing geometric abstraction.
Wow.
This is amazing. Amazing.
Oh, I love this one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, why, guys? Before I say anything, what's so amazing about it? What do you like?
There are so many colors for one thing.
It's very, very colorful. What else?
Very.
This one is a little more geometric.
Yes.
He's bending the color wheel.
Haha. For sure.
No, and the interesting thing is like some kind of transparencies in,
Yes.
you know, I mean, like this, the whole giving a three-dimensional effect.
Yes.
And I mean, there's a lot of thought and effort gone into creating this.
Yes. Yes. There's extraordinary skill in this piece. This is a virtuosic.
Mm.
It looks like a flashlight on the
Yeah, it
left.
does.
Fabulous.
Gosh, as soon as you said that, this red shape in the middle started looking like a handle to me. It's not
I
funny.
wanted to say a percolator. Or a
Haha.
silo.
Percolator. Here's some things that really draw my eye. I love this black strip here, and then the black rectangle at the bottom. I mean, what made him put those there? What made the artist even think to do this? Wow.
I love the stripes and the yellow in the
Yes.
background.
And then Krishna, as you were just saying, the depth, the illusion of depth
Yeah,
here.
right. That illusion of depth really fascinates me in all the
Yeah.
paintings, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's almost like there's steps going back
yeah,
space here. And
Sure.
you could read it the opposite way too, that this is protruding outwards.
absolutely. Coming to you, right?
Yes, yes, as if
Coming
this
to
were a
us.
pyramid sticking out, projecting out. And why did he choose light blue here? What was the impetus for doing that? And why does it work? In the realm of all things artistic and possible, why
I
does it
mean,
work?
in my opinion, blue would never have been my choice over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somehow I feel that the yellow, green, and the blue kind of doesn't gel, but I don't know what the artist was thinking. Maybe, you know, but that would not have been the choice for me.
It looks like a Wurlitzer jukebox to me.
Yeah.
Yes. And perhaps that's why he chose the blue, to make us think.
Well, the
Mm.
blue also,
Wonder.
blue and yellow make green too. So it's,
Right.
Okay, makes sense. That makes sense. I also like the tiny stripes here on the pink next to the thing.
Yep.
You know, that's something very unique, I find it.
Well, there's a lot of detail. Unfortunately, because this is a computer generated image, a lot of the detail is lost to us, but there's stripes here. You see it goes from
yeah.
dark to light
Right.
as
This
well.
feels like a color
Stripes.
theory.
Oh
What
yeah, there are stripes of blue
Lauren,
here.
what? I'm sorry, could you repeat, whoever that was? Repeat
Oh,
what you,
I'm sorry. I said this looks like a lesson in color theory as we're all discussing the combinations. And I think
yes.
I also looked at the lines initially. I really like that it's drawn up. And I don't know if I'm the only one doing this, but in looking around, I think, I don't want to say traditionally, but when you're doing art, you're trying to draw the eye and, you know, sometimes bring your color, I guess, in a circle or whatever. But yeah, it's so bold. I don't know. I agree. There's something about this I just love. And there's so many different interpretations and well done, artist, Jaime.
That's what makes it art. And I have to share now, I was not really drawn to his work, but the more I look at it, the more excited I am. So that's really cool.
You might
Likewise.
qualify for a great architect, but I don't know about art.
Yeah, see, part of my problem is to me, this is very decorative, saleable work. And does that make it art? But listening to everyone talk about it and seeing the amount of skill required is making me rethink. I think that was Naomi who made that comment. It's making me rethink and reevaluate. Here's something of his that's quite different, although it's similar, but quite different from what we've looked at thus far. See what you think. And there is a lot of detail in this as well. And again, because it's digitized, it's difficult to see. There's a lot of small lines in each one of these sections.
This looks like more like a mechanical drawing, you know, like an engineer or a person who has engineering and design kind of an approach. Very sharp lines and
So Liz, I want to jump in a little bit. It's Jane. So while I'm enjoying this one, the color in particular, the gray background is very soothing and it just kind of feels very relaxed. Some of the earlier pieces that you shared were really challenging for me. I don't know what to think, and then I sort of think about the fact that I feel so new at it, and you know, what can I make of this? What can I learn from it? But it's really interesting to hear comments and kind of pull me into to really regard these pieces and just enjoy kind of this wandering in a kind of a foreign land, if you will.
Huh. Okay, cool. So yeah, this one is very much architectural. Again, he's playing with space, the illusion of depth. This could be a three-dimensional object, but he's rendered it on a flat surface. He's playing with our visual perception. And there was a movement called the optical art or op art. This to me almost falls into the category of op art or optical illusion. He makes it look 3D and then he puts that orangey yellow outline around it, which then flattens it out. So it's almost like he's teasing us in a way. Is it flat? Is it 3D? What is it?
What is it?
Is it a painting? Is it a sculpture? Is it what is it?
It feels very controlled.
Oh, he's definitely, yeah. He's definitely in control of what he's doing, including there are slight errors. I mean, from an engineering standpoint, the angles are slightly off. You see how this line doesn't match up with the line above, and I'm thinking that's intentional. This white edge is slightly off here. So, Jane, it's mysterious. Is it art? And I think it was Krishna who was talking about this looks like engineering work. Yeah, it does. And yet, maybe not. It's got that, what we call that push-pull. It pulls you in, it pushes you away. It has that enigma. All right, we're gonna look at one last one. And then we're gonna go do our own thing. Which one though, Liz? My usual dilemma. Let's try this one.
I'm getting a feel we might need a black light for this one. Yeah, 70s mood. Looks like a record to me. Sorry, we're not supposed to weigh in yet. Let's see.
Yeah, don't apologize. All comments are welcome. Yeah, it looks like the top of a beach ball. This one is my least favorite, I have to say. I shouldn't, sorry for that, folks. Shouldn't have said that.
This is by far my favorite. I don't know if
Okay,
it has
good. Oh, good, Lauren, good. Okay.
the most movement yet. I
Didn't
don't
inhibit you, good.
not at all, not at all. But,
Why do you like it so much?
you know, well, my dad used to work at RCA, so we've got records everywhere. So I might be partial to the shape, but it has movement. It's joyous. It is, I'm a big fan of using the whole page. As you know, I don't like a lot of negative space. And while black is a color, and that's what the bottom bit has been used, it's no, just it's bright. It draws me in. It has the movement of the circles. But I also love that if we are, in my eyes, you know, looking at the shape of a record, it's not the whole shape at all. It's cut off, which is another thing I really, really like. So yes, this is my favorite by far. Love it.
Yeah, bravo. Yeah, and it has this extraordinary illusion of space, interior space. Is it receding down into this yellow hole? That's how I read it.
And you're drawn to that center because it's almost like, I mean, it's neither the yellow or the green that he's used here, but it is obviously in that family. And that's what I was talking about before, and that you put a little bit of whatever that color is to draw you to the top. So yes, this love, love, love.
And then interesting use of shadow. Again, emphasize the curvature. You see how he's used shadow. He's used shadow here to emphasize the depth, the inward curvature, and shadow here to emphasize the outer curvature. I mean, he really knows what he's doing. One has to say that about this artist, Mr. Domínguez. All right. Any final comments about his work? I want more defenders of his work. I imagine walking down the streets of Chelsea, seeing his work in a gallery sometime soon, because this is very au courant. This is the kind of thing that I expect to see in a Chelsea gallery any minute, if not already. Nothing? No more comments. And if anybody finds more information, here's a warning. There's another Jaime Domínguez Montes, who similar age range, I think he's a little bit older, who paints wonderful paintings of mainly portraits of Jesus. And they are very traditional style. I believe he is from Mexico, and they are very traditional paintings. All right. So here is the supplies that I recommend for today, or here are the supplies that I recommend that you gather for today. You're going to need water if you're using paint.
Water.
Acrylics or watercolor paints, either will do fine. Brushes. If you are not using paint, if you don't have any paint available, I would recommend markers for this one. You saw how vibrant Mr. Domínguez's colors are. So go for those Sharpies if you're lucky enough to have colored Sharpies or Crayola markers, and use them to their fullest extent. Crayons or oil pastels would work great for this. I would use white paper for your background. I'm gonna just use plain white drawing paper, and I'm gonna use acrylic paint today. I'm gonna draw first in pencil. You do not have to do that, but honoring Mr. Domínguez's style, I think I'm going to plan my composition out carefully first. So my suggestion is you take a small piece of, I don't know, photocopy paper or sketch paper and do a tiny sketch first. I would recommend, if you're going the circular motif, that you look around your house for some circular objects and use them to trace. Or if you have a compass, you could use a compass. If you don't have rulers for sketching out the hard edge shapes, you can use edges of paper or any other straight edged object that you may have available. But I would go with using any kind of measuring tool to help you set up your composition today. I would not do a freehand sketch unless you're in the mood to do that. But in the style of Mr. Domínguez, I would keep the control thing going here today. All right, any questions about the supplies that you need? No? We're good to go? All right, I'm gonna give everybody a couple of minutes. I'm gonna put my stuff together. Wow, we really have a full house today. Welcome, 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 everybody. People snuck in while I wasn't watching. And I probably shouldn't say anything, but it sure is cool that Ida so far is being very gentle. But maybe that's why so many people are on board today. The rain is keeping us indoors.
Well, what a perfect day to have bold colors in our lives.
Absolutely. Great day, bright colors.
Indeed. Bright smiles.
What could be better? This is certainly a nice switch from the kind of work we've been doing the last few weeks. All right, so I am going to demo on my easel some tips for you. I forgot to pull out a ruler, and the bad news is I don't think I have any today. So the good news is I'm going to show everyone what you can do if you don't have a ruler available. So my measuring tools today, since I don't have a ruler, I'm going to use this white box and this circular container. And I'm going to think for a moment about what I want to do. I notice this is a great position for my easel, though. You can really see from here. Now, as always, these tips are for you to watch only if you want to, and you can choose to ignore my ideas. Entirely up to you. I actually prefer that you go off on your own and work out your own composition. But if you've never done geometric abstraction before, you might want to watch. All right, you want to think about the entire page and how you're going to use the space. I really liked how he used the circle as his starting point, so I think I'm going to do the same. I'm going to position my circle, though, in an off-center way. And I am lightly tracing around the outside. I want my shapes to interact and relate to each other. And there are a couple of ways to do that. They can overlap or they can touch. So I think my box is going to sit here and just gently touch the circle at the edge. So I'm planning ahead, but not really thinking terribly deeply at this point about what I'm doing. I would recommend you do this kind of work flat on your table Remember, I'm just using the easel so that you can see what I'm doing. You'll have way more control if you're working on a flat surface. So this to me is pretty boring at this stage. I've got to add more shapes. Looking for some smaller rectangles. Taking one of my husband's canvases. And now I'm overlapping the smaller rectangle over the larger one. So this is starting to create a little bit of excitement in my composition because now I've created a fourth shape by overlapping. The eye now can travel from my focal point, the circle over here, down and over. And depending on what I do with color now, there's a little bit of flow going in my composition. I'm going to step back far away from my sketch and look at it from a distance to see what's going on. It's still to me a little ordinary. I don't know if you're going to be able to see what I'm doing, but I think I'm going to create a semicircle down here in the bottom right corner. You can see a bit of what I'm doing. And this semicircle isn't touching anything. And it's running off the edge of my paper. But I think it's going to create a little interest because it's way down in the bottom corner. And nothing else in my image is in a corner. So this may now become the actual focal point of the piece because it's in such an unusual position. Yeah, I like that. So often just by putting a shape in an unusual space, and we noticed that in the last painting of Mr. Domínguez that we looked at, he had that beach ball or whatever that record shape, the last piece we looked at, the circle wasn't complete. He had cut off the sides of the circle. So just by doing that to a shape, you create interest in your composition. Just by not completing a shape and having it run off the edge in your composition can create a bit of excitement in an otherwise flat and maybe even dull composition. So this might be done. Not sure. There's a lot more I could do, but at this point, I think I might start adding color. Yeah, I think I'm going to start adding color. Remember, we're thinking minimal with this geometric abstraction. Less is more in the style of Jaime Domínguez. So you want to try and, I guess, suppress your more busier instincts. I tend to be an artist who thinks more is better, and I'm trying to tamp that down today in my work. You can always add more later. So I'm going to add some thin washes of color if I feel it's not working and I need more shapes. As my work dries, I can add more shapes. Why not? Guys, feel free to ask questions while you're working. I love that.
What medium would you use?
I'm using acrylic today, but you could use
Okay.
watercolor paint. You could use
Can
oils.
you see that?
No, I cannot. It's a little bit too light for me, Stephanie.
Okay, sorry.
Do a little bit more.
Okay. I'm debating whether to use markers or whatever.
Well, markers would certainly make it extremely bright.
Right.
Inks would be good if you have inks. I might use, I actually haven't even used these yet. I have, but not often. And I'm gonna, never mind. I had some metallic paints, but I'm not going to use them today.
Even highlighters would be fun.
Right, highlighters would be great. Thanks. Who is that, Lily? Highlighters would be awesome.
Yeah.
Even Crayola, regular Crayola markers. If you have them in fluorescent colors, even better. Please try, unless you have questions or comments, please try and remember to mute everyone, please. And thank you for that. Just a note, if you need to buy new supplies, I think it's still going on, but Dick Blick Art Materials is having their back to school sale, and they have some great bargains at the moment. Not that I want to plug a particular company, but art supplies are very expensive, as we all know. Now, if you want to create that kind of transparent or translucent quality, it's going to be challenging. But one suggestion I have is if you mix the top layers with white, that might work. But I would start with light colors and gradually make them dark. And then the final layers, I would make pastel. Wait for the bottom layers to dry and make your final layers a pastel tint. And that would make it look more transparent. All right, color. I don't know what to tell you about color today, except keep it bright and experiment, because this guy, Mr. Dominguez, really did extraordinary things with color. He is a big risk taker. So have fun with it. I'm going to work on my big background area first. In fact, I took a brush that's too small, and I'm going to swap it out for a big baby. I like to do the background first. For me, that's the easiest way to go.
Hi, Liz. This is Robin.
Hi, Robin.
I just joined. My alarm didn't go off, etc.
Oh, been there, done that.
Could you just give me a 2-minute orientation to what you're doing? I'm so sorry I missed the lecture, but just
Quite all right. We are doing geometric abstraction.
Okay.
So I worked first in pencil, and now I am laying down the color. I'm using acrylic paint, but you could use marker. Think very bright color.
Okay. Perfect.
And the artist's name is in the chat box. You should be
Yes.
able to find him.
I can look on
Jaime
my phone at
Domínguez Montes.
I do have your email. I will on my phone. I can look at that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I trace different objects to make my shapes. And we're thinking less is more today, Robin. Mr. Dominguez Montes is a minimalist.
That's perfect. Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome. Have fun. Sorry, everybody. My phone is off the charts with noise today. Now, if you like those fine line stripes and the shading that Mr. Domingos uses, you want to do that last. I should have told you that right from the get-go. That kind of detailing goes in at the very end. And it just occurred to me, his work reminds me of the detailing, the fancy detailing you see on sports cars. What do you think? Just thought of that. I'm having a slight streak of rebellion here. You can too. I don't want to fill mine in and make it perfectly flat, a la Mr. Montes, Mr. Dominguez Montes. I'm letting some of my brush strokes show because I like how it looks. Feel free to commit your own acts of rebellion. That's part of art too. Experiment. Let your personality shine through and your style shine through. Again, apologies, it's the season of telemarketing and political campaigning. I clocked it yesterday. I must have gotten at least 12 political texts in 1 hour. It was amazing. It broke all records. Yeah, somebody asked me to silence it. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do it on my computer either. I'm sorry. Somebody could give me a lesson in that. I would appreciate it. I mean, I guess on my phone, I could put it in airplane mode, right? Let me do that. Oh, I could put it in do not disturb also. That's what I can do. Okay, so I have shut my phone off. I don't know how to do it on my computer though. So if someone could put that in the chat box, I would love to be able to shut off all the dinging and pinging. I have a MacBook. I mean, I can turn the volume off. Can you still hear me if I turn the volume off? No one's looking up.
I'm not sure. I'm not a technical person.
Hey, Liz, I'm not sure what you're asking. How can I help?
All right, well, we'll try that.
We can still hear you, no problem.
All right, so now I'm going to work on coloring my shapes. I'm switching to a smaller brush, obviously. I want more control. got that bright yellow background. I think I might go for orange for the circle. Still painting. Again, I'm keeping it very simple at this stage. And I think with my shapes, because my background color is pure primary, I'm gonna mix colors for my shapes. Just to create a little interest. Everybody seems to be doing okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a shock of color. This works. little bit of the unexpected. So there is my basic composition. And what I'm going to do at this stage is let it dry. Because the next step in my process will be to take circles of various sizes and sketch smaller and smaller circles, trace smaller and smaller circles within the circles that I already have, and maybe on the outer rim of the circle as well, and do the same thing with my rectangular shapes to create that kind of striped effect and start achieving that depth of field that Mr. Dominguez so artfully achieved in his work. But I have to let my paint dry a little bit before I can do that. You guys are very deep into your work. This is awesome. While I'm waiting for stuff to dry, I'm going to look for smaller objects to trace with. I'm on the hunt.
too wet.
Just 4 minutes, folks. And we'll stop and share. Okay. All right, sorry to interrupt the creative flow. I want to start by letting everyone know, first of all, our artist for next week. Her name is Barbara Rivera, and she is a portrait painter. I'm putting her name in the chat box for everyone. She is a Mexican Cuban American artist who is extremely proud of her heritage and loves painting portraits of friends and family members. They're really wonderful images, and I think you're going to really love looking at her work. And we're going to be revisiting portraiture, or learning about portraiture for those of you who have never had the opportunity to do portrait work before. And it is fun, and I will spend time reviewing the techniques and basics of portrait work. Those of you who have done a lot of portrait work, I'm going to be inviting you to do painting next class. Those of you who are not at that stage of the game, you can do a sketch of portrait work. All right, so we got to at least start some geometric abstraction today. I don't know if you can even see my image all that well. Let me turn off the spotlight. It's putting a bit of glare. I just began the second stage of my image where I'm starting to add details. You can see a little bit of it in the circle, the big circle in the upper left-hand side of the image. And I realized while I was working, what a great opportunity for color mixing, because I was working very hard at working out the different tints and hues of orange, trying to make each concentric circle slightly lighter than the one next to it. And that was a challenge. I loved working on that. And then for some reason, I decided to make the interior circle blue, light blue. And that was just a fun idea that popped into my head. So anyone struggling with their piece and need advice, or anyone who met with success who wants to share with everyone, this is the best way to learn, by getting ideas from other folks. Nomi, today you're first in my
okay.
queue. Are you ready to share?
Yes, I was inspired by the last piece that you
Remember, you do not have to
reminded me-
share.
That reminded me of an elongated prism. So I was looking for a prism.
Nomi, you're muted.
I'm not.
I hear her.
I'm not muted.
Okay, you know, I
You're-
have to
you
turn
have
the
to
volume
raise
up
your
now on my-
sound. Right.
That's what I-
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I was trying to do a prism with an orange frame. And
Very nice.
I'm in the middle of that.
Oh, I
Very
really
nice.
like the triangles that are flaring out on the side.
Yeah.
That's very
Very cool.
clever.
It was very relaxing. I find it that the most banal artists are very inspiring.
I don't know if I would call him banal.
Banal, but yeah, not the
sure that's
famous
fair.
and the artists we never heard about.
The more I looked at his work, the more interesting I found him. So. All right, excellent today. Stephanie, you're next. Thank you so much, Naomi. Wow. All right, Stephanie.
It's all about color.
Yup, color and shape. I
Right.
like the circles that are running off the top. Well, I guess it's your left-hand side, but for us, it's the right.
Right.
Yeah, I like the motion you create.
I never used markers before, so
Oh, markers are so much fun.
yeah,
Great.
it was fun.
And everybody noticed Stephanie created a frame in which to work. That's always a good device to do when you're working with composition.
Right.
It's a good starting point. And Mr. Dominguez started with a circular frame for the most part, but you can also work from a rectangle as your starting point. Great. Great use of color too, Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Margot and Lauren, the duo today. You're next.
I'm gonna send you a JPEG. I'm not quite done with mine. I can show you what I'm going, well, I'll send you a JPEG.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not participating today. I'm just listening.
All right. No problem.
But thank you.
I get it. Been there myself. All right, Esty. You don't have to.
I do.
Okay. So show. Wow.
Still,
Wow. I love the black stripe over the yellow. I like that.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
not sure that's the direction it's going to go in, but
No, I'm not done, but you know,
like it, like it, like it.
I made many circles, and I'll see what's, you know.
I even like the unfinished one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Bravo. Keep going with it. All right, Susan.
Oh, it's not done.
Circles, people are really into the circle thing. Love it.
Yeah.
Love your colors. I love the orange with the purple is unusual. I like it.
Yeah, hopefully I'll finish it today and I'll send you a JPEG.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see something shooting off the your right-hand side.
There is some, well, it's there. Just
Yeah,
can't
but you
see it.
switched it. You flipped it.
Oh, okay.
In the empty part. Maybe a
Oh.
long rectangle.
Oh, okay. Good idea.
See what happens. Let it grow. All right, great job. Thank you, Susan. Doris, are you in the mood? Oh, yeah. Oh, Doris did a collage. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I tried a collage today.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you know, now, Doris, you could take marker and you could draw on top of it too, if you like.
Oh, yeah, it's a good idea. It needs a little more dimension, I think.
Yeah, if you wanted to do some of the thin stripes, it might be easy. Oh, that direction. That's the winning direction right there. Very
Okay.
nice. I like the black strip. Maybe you need a black strip at the bottom.
Yeah, there's a very thin one here, but I think I may want to make it bigger.
Yeah, all the way across maybe. Yeah, I like it very much.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah, so collage is an option, everyone, with this project. Why not? Alice, are you in the mood to share, Alice? Yes, hold it up higher, please. And you got to hold it still. You keep moving. Great colors, great shapes. Yeah, it's excellent. I would color the frame. Color the frame, Alice. Bright, color the frame in a bright color, like bright blue, maybe. I love it. Yay, Alice, thank you. Heather. Awesome, Alice. I hope
I'm
you,
not, whoops. I'm not done yet.
that's okay. Oh, you use Plexi? Is that Plexi?
It's that overhead projector stuff
Oh, very cool.
and paper, just regular paper. Beautiful. I'm still working.
What did you use to attach it?
There's just a little bit of hot glue in the corners. And this is just, you know, shoved in there, and then
Yeah. Oh, that's inspired. I love it. Talk about translucent.
yeah,
Very cool.
still working.
You know, instead of putting it on the white paper, maybe put it on the clear transparency.
I could do that. I was inspired by Estee's black, though. I like to do some black around there.
All right. Try different options.
Right.
Beautiful colors.
Thanks.
Woohoo. Lots of creativity today. Thanks, Heather. Robin,
Sure.
you next. And we only have 2 minutes to go.
Well, I just, you know, grabbed some shapes and started.
Very nice.
And I want to keep working on it and decide whether the edges are to be smooth or not. I don't have a lot of brushes for acrylic, so nor do I have a lot of paint. So anyway, that was the beginning of shape overlapping and seeing what colors work.
I really like your color choices. Very, very, very pretty.
Thank you. Thanks.
Keep going. Send me a JPEG.
Okay, yeah, I've got a lot of work to do on it. Thank you.
Jane, 1 minute to go. Do you want to share?
Give Jane a minute. Give her 20. Oh, she's probably doing something fun.
Yeah, I just felt free to play with color and paint, and it's clearly still in its infancy, but you know, I'll play some more, and if it turns into something, I'll send it.
It's a great beginning.
I love number.
Thank you.
All right, sorry, everybody else, hold up your work. Yeah, oh, Pat, yeah. Nice, Lily, gorgeous. Oh, and Margot, you decided to share. Awesome.
Lauren.
All right.
It's mine.
Shirley, no, you don't want to share? And Helen, oh, Helen, you made it. Hi. Awesome.
I didn't know it was on.
All right, guys.
Hooray, love it.
Have a great week. Start looking for pictures of faces that you want to work on for portraiture next week. And don't worry about, you know, being Michelangelo. We're going to have fun. And art on, everybody. It was great seeing you all, and happy September. Gosh.
Thank you.
Hard to believe we're into the fall.
Liz.
Thanks for a great class, Liz.
I'm glad you enjoyed.
Always great, Liz.
My
Thanks.
pleasure.
Bye.
I had fun today too. Any
Bye.
last word, Charissa? Any announcements or?
Nope. I'll see you guys next week.
Feel
Bye.
better.
Bye, Charissa.
Bye, guys.
All right. Take care, Charissa. Love you.